Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong, welcome to the Back Office. We have another kit today, a kit from China. I'll just put this white piece of paper so it will completely illuminate our area here today. Get all the gubbinses out. Now, how this kit differs from our last kit is that it's no longer a mystery because it has a pamphlet. So let's see what's in this pamphlet. And hopefully it will aid us in our construction. So it's an LM3915N kit. Bit of a mystery still, to be honest with you. Nice looking PCB. Bits and bobs. So you've got, I'm just looking at the circuit here, there's a VCC J3 Con 2. So there's a connector and there's an input of some sort, and it's going through this LM3915, and there's a bunch of LEDs. So if I were to guess, I think this is some sort of audio kit. It looks like the power comes in at the top on this one of these jumpers. So I guess we'll just crack on, assemble it, and then figure out how it works afterwards. So soldering iron on, let's go. Look at this, look how these things are taped together, a bit fiddly. It's quite funny really, I actually thought when I had this kit and I noticed in the bag it had a manual that it was going to be a bit of a cakewalk this morning, but it really doesn't look that way at the moment. Let's start with the IC carrier because it's always a nice easy one to get us going, and it's a nice flat PCB actually. Maybe I should be putting that in at the end after my resistors because then I could keep them all squashed down, but start with whatever one you want, you can work it out. If you're assembling 200 kits, then yeah, there might be a reason for you to do them in a specific order, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not even going to check that this carrier's flat because let's just freestyle it this morning. I did just notice something here. There appears to be a resistor track right in the middle of the carrier for a 20k resistor, as it turns out. So I'm going to have to drop that one in. Let's get all of our resistors out here. You know I'm pretty weak on reading resistor colours, so I'm going to have to figure that out in a moment. So let's have a look at our PCB here. We've got some ceramic capacitors. There's a C1 there, could be that one. They're both 104. That's not a problem. Audio in, it's definitely an audio circuit because look, there's an audio in right there, audio in, power. So luckily the PCB is actually marked up for us. Let's put our pin headers in while we're at it as well. Should be 3 of these. Only 2. So I don't know what Con 2 is. So we leave Con 2 off. We're gonna go for well, we can tack power on. Decisions. Let's go with that arrangement right now. So I was intending this morning to go to the car boot sale and see what I could pick up, see if there was any games, any electronics, any gadgets of weirdness that I could buy for a bargain price, but it's a bit miserable outside, and tends to be because these things are in fields. As soon as it's overcast they cancel them. They don't want people getting going all Glastonbury and getting trodden in mud. I think it's quite brave sometimes of these car booters who are out there when it starts raining, all of their wares getting wet, but it doesn't seem to do things too much harm. Last time I was there were people selling Nintendo Wii systems for £10. I almost braved one. So here is our sort of adjustment here, 50k. I'm going to take it that that little notch means put the trim at that end. Might not be. It's only a 3-pin device. If we have to take it out, it shouldn't pose too much of a problem for us. There we go, all 3 pins nicely done. So here's our LED strip. Now you can see, as it's a VU meter, there's a range here where they have the LEDs. You know, you're going to expect yellow, 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 and then right at the peak it will be red, something like that. But we don't know which way round they're going to go, so we're going to have to guess that. We also need to put in some resistors. We have 3 1K resistors, so I'm going to assume it's these 3, and then we'll work out the rest afterwards. So there's our 3 resistors in their right place. I'm just going to trying something different really. I wouldn't normally assemble them in this way. I'd bend the legs and put them through, but let's have a go. Let's see if this works out for us. It's a bit painful, I have to admit. I wouldn't advise you do it this way, but yeah, you can. Let's try it with the other 2. Let's see if this technique sucks big time. I think it's already taken me longer to put them in. Get over here. Pliers in there. It kind of works. I wouldn't advise it though. And actually they don't really sit put anyway. There's no tin plate vias, so you can't go in from the top solder wise, so I am going to have to solder them entirely from the bottom. So our 3 looking pretty good. Trim these legs. So I'm feeling a bit lazy. I'm not going to bother trying to work out the resistors again because you know I'm not very good at it anyway. I'm just going to use my meter here. And we're just going to pick some resistors at random and then just drop them in as we measure them. A 20k. Well, this is 19.8, but you know that's going to be a 20k. So we're going to pop that one. That's the one that actually lives, rather irritatingly, between this chip. It's a really weird layout actually. Oh, I know why they've done it. They've done it because it's a single-sided PCB. And if they didn't put it here, they'd have to use a jumper elsewhere. So it was a bit, I don't know, is it clever or is it annoying? One or the other really. If it works, I guess. It's not a huge deal, just need to be aware of it in construction, and it's not a production circuit, so I doubt you'd do that in a production circuit because someone's going to bloody shoot you for that. And they've assembled 2,000 of them and it's taken them an extra day of their life just to keep poking those things through. They're going to be angry. Right, so we have 4 more LEDs. Got our meter again. Let's see what this one is. An 100 ohms. 100 ohms. And then there is 100. R1 is 100 ohms. Pop that through. We'll just do them, shall we, as we go along. What's more efficient? Measure them all, then solder them all in one go? Almost certainly. Are we striving for maximum efficiency this morning on a rainy Sunday? Probably not. Good. Done. So 3 more resistors. We're nearly there. That's a 10k, a 2.1k, and a 10 ohms. So that's, sorry, 10. That's a 10 ohms. We'll post that in its 10 ohms hole. Just stay there for a moment. It's a 10k. So what should remain according to this circuit is a 560 ohms. It's coming in as a 2.1k though. Whatever shall we do? I guess we're just going to have to assume that there was a substitution on R9. That's a hugely different value though. So we're going to have to be aware of that when we're, let's say if, I'm not going to say when we're debugging, if we have to debug this circuit, that's really where we should turn our attention. So effectively this is some sort of voltmeter. That would be my best approximation. Now I've got a load of LEDs to put in. Remember, they're like diodes, and it really makes sense to make sure what way round they go in your circuit. So I'm just going to bring up my internet browser on my phone, because there'll be nothing worse than doing this wrong. So look, we've got our Google. Square LED polarity, and it's all down to the legs, and I can never remember whether the short leg is negative or positive. It really, in fact, I don't really need to go into specifics for a square LED, because you can see here the long leg is the positive. Fine, long leg positive. See if I can remember that now. Long leg positive. Will the VU graph go right to left? That is the question. If we get this wrong, we'll have 2 LEDs to remove. Well, 4 really. You've got to swap out 4. I guess we're just going to take a punt. Long leg positive. Don't really see VU meters anymore. They used to be all of the rage in every product when I was a youth, but now relegated to retro technology and B movies on Sci-Fi Channel. Come on, get in there. Quite stiff, very tight interference fit. They've just about, I think the holes are just about the right sort of diameter for the core of the wire of the LED, and it doesn't count the edges, so it's quite good though. I think it's probably about right. I wouldn't want to assemble too many of these in a day though, it would make your fingers bleed. Let's get that last one in. So there they are. Blue. A bit like Kit from Knight Rider. I'm just seeing if there's a way I can squeeze them down and they all line up. there isn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack weld one leg of each and then just go through and push them down. Otherwise you're really going to definitely get them all wonky. There we go. So let's see how we look. Most of them are actually sitting pretty well. That one could do with a bit more. But let's just go through each one. Yeah, that's fine. Any adjustment we need to make now, we can just make by bending the LEDs. Something this could be quite a useful little gadget for me, doing all my video recording, because audio is always a tricky one to monitor, especially when you're in front of the camera, as it were. I'm doing a very dangerous move here, clipping 2 leads at a time. It's a guaranteed way of ruining your side cutters. That's all of them cut. What I'm going to do before we continue though, I'm going to get my little brush here. Let's sweep this out of the way. Start again. So that's our circuit, that's our IC. We can try to jam that in. Let's just make sure the legs are flat before we put it in. Bend it that way. Bend it that way. It's good to go. Crunch, crunch, crunch. In it is. So what's left? Audio in and power. So we've got our power here. Not sure how many volts it is. It says 9 to 12 volts actually on the circuit. DC 9 to 12 volts. It's a bit brave, isn't it? 9 to 12 volts. Gonna have to solder it from the back though, because we can't go in from the top. Well, maybe we can. Nah. My wires aren't long enough. I'm not going to bother making them long enough. Ground here. And power. Something heavy to sit on the wire so it stays put. Right, audio in. So the audio in is achieved by these sort of headers. It does sort of imply I'm going to have to find an audio source and a way of getting them actually into this. I'll worry about that in a moment. Almost be better to have a DC jack. Right then, that's our circuit. Let's turn on the power. 5 volts. Right, we're up to 10 volts. Oh, look. Do, 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 do. If I unplug my lights here, so that's the actual circuit there. We started at the right end, fortunately, because it's starting at the yellow, and then you've got the red there. You can't see much action at the moment because, of course, we don't have a proper audio source connected. I bet if I put a microphone on here, what have I got? Got a little speaker. That's no good. In fact, I've got a bigger speaker. Let's put a speaker straight on. And I know there's not going to be much voltage generated in a speaker, but it should be enough to sort of allow us to play with this circuit. So I'm just going to tack on to the actual tags straight onto the speaker. Get rid of the old wire. Ow! Careful what you touch. Made the mistake there of not tinning the wires. Always tin the wires. Look, there's a bit of VU action from the tip of my soldering iron. Got a floating ground here. Hello! Ow! Hello! So you can see the actual VU meter moving a little bit. This trim pot here will be for adjusting it. I cannot believe I can't see an actual screwdriver in here at the moment, so I'm just going to use this broken scalpel blade as an adjustment. So I'm going to turn this. Look, it's like got loads of turns. Hello. So I think it was working better the other way. Hello, hello, how are you? Alright, well, I think that's it really. I know I'm not giving it the best sauce here, but hope that's been of some use to you. That's the LM3915N circuit. I'll try to post links down below. I go on eBay, but I'll try to find you an Amazon link because I know a lot of you prefer that, and they're a bit more reliable than the eBay links because they tend to disappear. Yeah, seems a bit of fun. Quite nice to actually put this on it in a nice box, I think, and mount it somewhere and put it as part of your audio setup so you can see what your levels are. Please feel free to comment down below and click subscribe, and as ever, thank you for watching. You didn't think I was going to leave you hanging there without actually a proper example. So I found this. This is a mono to stereo adapter, which we can cut here. Just going to strip this down. Oh, it's got that wire that's like bloody thread. Always a pain. So because we don't need it to be stereo, in fact, I'm going to just solder straight on here. This is those tinned wires, and they're really, I say tinned, varnished wires, and they're really a pain. So I've got to use my little grabby thing. Always a problem. Just hold the soldering iron for a few moments in one spot, and that normally will do the trick on that varnish. Same again. That wasn't too bad. I don't know why I was moaning about that. So I'm just going to touch it onto there. So that's one side of the input. The other side of the input. So all I need now is an audio source. Took a few moments, but there we go, we've got a video playing. That's one of my very old videos. So I've got the volume turned up here, and you can see, yeah, it's certainly doing something like. So I'm a bit surprised though on this adjustment. It really doesn't seem to do anything. I'll have to check the circuit, see what the value's there. But yeah, works all right.